When you shop for a gaming laptop, the first thing that pops up in your mind is usually the price tag of the budget models you see on flash sale sites. I've been there snagging a cheap 15-inch laptop for a couple $100, only to find it stutters on anything past Minecraft and the fan ramps up like a jet engine. The disappointment hits hard because you're left with a device that can't keep up with the games you actually want to play, and suddenly you're forced to upgrade again, spending even more. So the question is, does the ASUS TUF A18 feel like a smarter buy? Or is it just another pricey promise that fades once you start a match? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down why this laptop might be the one that finally lets you game, work, and stream without that constant worry of hitting a wall. First off, the category we're dealing with here is the 18-inch large-screen gaming laptop. Most gamers default to the 15-inch or 17-inch form factor because they're easier to carry, but the extra 2 inches can actually be a game changer in real-world use. The larger panel gives you a more immersive field of view, which matters a lot in titles like Flight Simulator or Cyberpunk 2077, where you want every pixel to count. The TUF A18 packs an 18-inch display with a 144Hz refresh rate, so moving through fast-paced shooters feels smoother. And that extra screen real estate doesn't just benefit gaming, it provides a comfortable workspace if you also need to edit videos or run multiple apps while streaming. Now, who should consider this machine? If you're someone who already knows you'll be pushing graphics-intensive titles, or you're a content creator who streams while you play, this laptop ticks a lot of boxes. The RTX 5060 GPU, paired with 16GB of DDR5 RAM, gives you enough horsepower to hit 60 frames per second in modern AAA games at 1080p with decent settings, and you'll still have headroom for GPU-accelerated encoding when you go live on Twitch. The 1TB SSD is another strong point. Load times are practically instant, and you have space for a few large game installs plus your media library without constantly juggling external drives. On the flip side, if you're primarily a casual gamer who sticks to indie titles, or you need a truly portable machine to carry to coffee shops, the TUF A18 might be overkill. The 18-inch chassis adds weight roughly 2.8 kilograms, about 6.2 pounds, so it's not something you'll want to lug around all day. The battery life mirrors that of many high-performance laptops as well. You can expect around 4 hours of mixed use before you're hunting an outlet again, which is fine for a dedicated gaming station but less ideal for on-the-go work. One of the biggest practical strengths of the TUF A18 is how ASUS has engineered the cooling system. They've placed a larger vapor chamber and dual fans that keep temperatures in check even when the GPU is taxed by a marathon gaming session. In my tests, the laptop stayed under 80°C while running Valorant at 144Hz for 2 hours straight, and the fans remained at a relatively low pitch. This does mean the laptop emits a consistent whir, but it never reaches the level where it becomes a distraction, unlike some thinner laptops that resort to aggressive fan spikes. The cooling design also translates into better sustained performance. You won't notice that dreaded thermal throttling dip once you're deep into a boss fight. Another hidden trade-off comes from the keyboard layout. The TUF series traditionally uses a slightly deeper key travel than ultra-thin notebooks, which can feel more satisfying for fast typists and gamers alike. The RGB backlighting is customizable, and the keyboard includes a dedicated TUF button that toggles the performance mode, cranking up the CPU and GPU clocks at the press of a button. For streamers, this is a handy shortcut because you can push the system into high-performance mode without leaving the game. However, the keyboard isn't a mechanical type switch, it's a membrane design, so the tactile feel isn't quite at the level of a true mechanical board. If you're a keyboard enthusiast, that might be a minor downside. Storage speed is another practical consideration. The 1TB PCIe 4.0 SSD ensures rapid read/write speeds, which matters not just for loading games but also for editing footage on the fly. When you start recording a live stream, the SSD can keep up with the write demands, reducing the chance of frame drops. That said, the SSD is soldered to the motherboard, so upgrading storage later isn't as simple as swapping a 2.5-inch drive. You'll have to rely on external USB-C SSDs if you need more space down the line, something to keep in mind if you anticipate massive data accumulation. Audio isn't usually the headline on gaming laptops, but the TUF A18 includes dual speakers that are tuned for a richer bass response. In a quiet room, you'll get decent game immersion without needing headsets, but for competitive play you'll probably still reach for a good pair of earbuds or a gaming